Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new week. And in breaking news, the crime rate and the increase in the crime rate has nothing at all to do with Bekele's competence. And you can take that to the bank because the president himself said the rising crime rate has nothing at all to do with the capabilities of my minister of police. So we're going to talk about the story. I actually don't have the words because YouTube will demonetize our entire channel. So, Byron, where do you think the responsibility lies then? Maybe men just need to act better. It's not Bekele's fault.
Men just need to behave better. I mean, come on, guys. Stop committing the violence.
All men except Bekele, of course. He's perfect.
I know, he's brilliant. So this is actually in response to John Steenhuisen's questions in Parliament, which is, why the hell are you letting this clown continue to be Minister of Police? So, the president obviously came out and said, well, unfortunately, the reason I've done this is because he hasn't done anything wrong. It's not his fault. He's actually doing a really good job. This is the same minister who, when the DA asked him about what were their responsibilities of devolving power to their province, and he said, I don't know. What am I, Minister of Police? And this is the same minister who went around arresting people on beaches that when they said to them, this isn't against the law, he was like, I didn't know that. What am I, Minister of Police?
And then let's not forget, this is the same minister that says, well, if a woman gets assaulted by one person, it's not that bad. By 10 people, it's even worse. And we don't want to make light of crime in this country, but if you look at stories like this, my friends who are watching the channel, please, you have to laugh. If you don't laugh, you will cry and you'll emigrate to some horrible place. And you don't want to do that. This is the best country to live in because we have people like Bekele in charge of stuff.
I got stopped at a roadblock during Christmas, right? The guy comes to me and he says, you got anything to declare to me? Like, what, mate? Like, what do you want me to declare? He says, maybe an illegal firearm in your car? So I said, I've got a firearm. So I give him my license. And I said, can I make the gun safe for you? He's like, yes, you can. He looked at the gun. He's like looking at it like this. He goes, he cocks the gun back to look inside because he doesn't know where the serial number is. I said to him, it's on the side of the gun, mate, just this there. And he's like, oh, okay. He looks at my license, he looks at the gun, he goes, okay. He gives it back. These guys don't know what they're doing, man. This is the professional police service. I don't know.
Yeah, so for those who might not know about the crime stats in South Africa, right, we can make a lot of, jokes about Bekele and the police, but 7,000 people were killed in 3 months between July and September last year. 1,300 attempted murder, 10,000 rape cases were reported. Crime in South Africa is absolutely out of control. And according to the president, it's not Bekele's fault. According to the president, it's men's fault. Generally, because, men are bad and evil and all the rest of it, which we may agree in some sense. But, Byron, what the president fails to mention is that the ANC policies adopted by this country has neutered men for the most part, right? Social grants means families aren't needed. We have a variety of policies and things in this country that enables men to get away with a lot of things, like, their duty towards their family and duty towards their children and other cultural aspects that are very much endorsed by the ANC. So you can't say men are to blame for all the crime in the country and then treat men like they don't have a duty towards things that they create. But unfortunately, we live in a society where men do commit the most crime, but men are more victims of crime. But also, on top of all of that, we make men not develop a sense of duty towards country, family, church, or anything like that. So where does the answer actually lie?
Look, I find it funny that the president went out there and basically said, look, it's not Cele's fault, because you mentioned ANC policy, but ANC policy is one of Central Command. A lot of the provinces now are looking at Central Command going, guys, look, you guys suck. Just let us get onto it. The Central Command structure means that all of the stations, to a large degree, lie to the president. I have no doubt that even Cele doesn't really know what's going on, because Cele probably lies to Ramaphosa. The people that are talking to Cele lie to him. The whole system is corrupt as hell. And so I want to draw that as a further reference to another article that has come out today, which is obviously the day of recording. Ramaphosa is addressing the opening speech for the ANC conference yet again. And Ramaphosa says that the ANC needs to earn the trust of South Africans. But you can't earn our trust because you guys are as corrupt as hell. And Ramaphosa says, well, we strongly condemn corruption. But the structure, the policies that you put in place create the breeding ground for the very corruption that you tend to hate. The very corruption you talk against are created by the policies you put in place. And so at the end of the day, the president can sit there going, well, it's not Cele's fault. Well, if it's not Cele's fault and he's the central head, he's the head of department, Whose fault is it?
But that's the irony of centralized command, right? When things go right, we will take all the credit in the world. When things go wrong, it's never our fault. But don't worry, Ramaphosa, according to the speech that you just mentioned, did say that basically the ANC are merchants for hope. Hope of what? I have absolutely no idea. Hope for an apocalypse, hope for a meteorite to hit us, hope for Jesus to return. I'm not too sure. But he does say the new ANC leadership is awash with wisdom. They are certainly awash with something. Wisdom is maybe not the term I would use.
Probably awash with E. coli, judging by some of their beaches. My favorite part of his speech was that he says that, you know, the ANC needs to earn the title leaders of society. But haven't they been in government for the last 20 how many years? You literally lead society. It's amazing to listen to the ANC talk because you'd swear they were the official opposition half the time.
And I think it's quite useful for them to be seen as the official opposition. The state is one thing, the ANC is another thing, and like they don't ever talk to each other. How weird. It's a bit like when they say the ANC comes out and says we must end stage 6 load shedding and the government must do everything in its power to end it now. I'm like, you are the government. I think one day when the ANC is gone, we're actually going to look back with a bit of nostalgia when life was a lot more interesting and funny. But anyway, that is life in Africa. Let us know down below. What do you think of the story? Is Bekele responsible for crime issues in this country as Minister of Police? Or maybe he isn't. Maybe we're missing a trick here. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching, everyone.